Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to the second part of Great Feedback modules. I will be with you for the next 48 minutes. Before we continue, let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Tricia. I'm Area HR Business Partner for Customer Experience and Service covering Indonesia and Philippines. I joined Mars in 2017. Prior to that, I worked in several different companies. I started as an HR consultant, then moved to corporate side as an HR Business Partner. Then my last role before I joined Mars is as an HR manager. I took a career in HR because I love helping people to grow. And that's why feedback has been a topic close to my heart, because I see firsthand the crucial roles it plays in helping people to develop themselves. In my line of work, I exposed in many situations where I give feedback from various employees at all levels, starting from fresh graduates looking up to grow their career in the organizations to senior leaders who wants to improve better skills. So in these modules, this topic of giving feedback has been well researched by managers. In the first part, we've looked at what feedback is, what is the purpose of giving feedback. We've looked at the 5 stars models, which we can use to give praises and consoles. We've practiced a little bit how to use it in real life. And the second part, we're going to look at some tricky reactions that may occur when we give feedback. I think we've experienced it a bit also when we have the case studies, and also some special situations surrounding feedbacks. Okay. Speaking about research, let's look at this one interesting research from Eisenberg and team in 2003. So Eisenberg looking at how human brains works and what triggers it. So apparently, if there's a status threat or threat to our status as individuals, a part of our brains will lit up. And this part is actually the same part that triggers if we experience physical pain. And oftentimes, feedback is posed as a threat to our identity and status. So that's why when someone approaches us, say, "Can I offer you feedback?" Our first immediate reactions was the same as if we hear some of footsteps behind us in the dark, which is why it can lead to some tricky reactions, which Tsukasa also asked during the case studies. We're gonna look at how we can preempt and anticipate that. How can we preempt and manage this if it happens? Before that, let's look at from our own experience and also from the case study before, what kind of tricky reactions that we may encounter when we give feedback.
If I have to come up with some
Excuses, yes.
Retaliation also at times.
Sorry?
They retaliate, right?
Retaliate.
Yeah.
Retaliate. Can you explain a bit more?
Just saying no or being, not agreeing at all.
Ah, okay. So rejecting it. Yes.
Why me?
Why me?
Why are you coming and showing this to me?
Ah,
That kind of
okay.
reaction all the time, right? Why it's always me?
So it's kind of sort of like not believing in that feedback, right? Okay. Any other tricky reactions that you've encountered?
Nothing. Just saying nothing.
Just silence.
Yeah.
Complete silence, blank face. Yeah. Okay. So thank you all for your input. So basically, what we just shared is the common tricky reactions that we may encounter. So starting from denials, no, plain rejections, or rationalizing. As for mentioned, so try to explain. It's not it. Or just silence. Shameless sentence. Saying, "Oh, yeah, okay, right." Or, "Yeah, why me? You just have something to me. It's nothing to do with my work. It's just me." So it can be. It's also a sign of mistrust. Okay. In the next couple of minutes, we're gonna discuss in details how we can preempt this, and if it happens, what can we do about it? So, and hopefully it will answer Tsukasa questions earlier in the case studies. How we're going to do it is we're going to divide ourselves into subgroups. Since we are in a smaller group, so we're going to look at just 3 of these 4 tricky reactions, and then the last one we're going to discuss in the big group. Okay? So let's look at rationalizing, mistrust, and shame acceptance. And we're going to discuss the denials in a group. Okay, let's form a group. So if both Pong and Hoa can work together, and then Radha and Jayanti can work together, and three of you can work together. Okay, sit down first. Let's start. So, there's a flip chart already that you can use to write down your discussions. We're gonna take 4 minutes to discuss this. Remember 2 points: how we preempt and what to do if it happens. Okay. So if the group discussing rationalizing can go to the flip chart at the back, on the doors.
Okay.
And then the group Jayanti and Radha, we will discuss about mistrust. Mistrust will go here,
Okay.
and then 3 of you goes here. This is the chart for shame acceptance. There's a marker here which you can use to write down all your discussion point. Any questions about the process before we start? No. Okay. If none, let's take 4 minutes to discuss it. Feel free to go to your flip chart.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
To prepare right back and evidence.
Yes.
I think some argument also that
Previous
we need to prepare to listen also.
Listen to previous experiences because mistrust is very skilled. It's coming over there and
So we should talk to the person.
yes, talk to the
And be objective.
to relate that, so we should be able to relate that.
I think we can get third party comment too.
Somebody who will agree with the answer, whatever the manager says. Yes.
Objective and
Yes, ma'am.
for solution.
Or woman.
What else we could link to the positive side. Yeah. And we make it a little like constructive, some layers.
What do you do when it happens?
I think it's
The reason I wasn't, I didn't do it because
asking a question and then
if we find that rational is not bad, how do we do it?
what they do care about, what they don't care about, actually the importance of that. They don't care about things. Short future.
There
You as
are
an individual can make a change. So giving that importance to the
I think we can get the commitment.
We have 1.5 minutes to go.
And yes, in such situation, I think it is good that let them only come up with what could be, it gives them an opportunity to understand what would be a better,
Ask them how they
would handle this. So,
And creative.
if they say no,
I have a conversation. I'm
Yeah, what if they could do different?
What else can we do?
That's why it's very important to make them see that we separate the.
So we're gonna wrap up in 10
We focus
seconds.
on The facts.
Everyone good?
Good.
Yep.
Focus on facts.
Okay, so let's wrap up. Then 3, 2, 1. Okay, now if in all subgroups you can decide who's A and who's B, and the group with 3 people you can have 2 A's or 2. Up to you. Okay, and B. Okay. All right. So everyone knows whether they A or B.
Yeah.
Okay. So all the A's, please go to shame acceptance flip chart, and all the B's, please go to rationalizing flip chart.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Okay. So we're gonna take a minute in this flip chart, and the person who works on the flip chart before, please explain or share your discussion point to the rest of the group. Okay, let's take a minute.
Okay.
So
How to
we
present
don't have
this, like
preempt.
we find fact and evidence and also the comment
The
from
history of
third
the
party.
person and the relationship
And
with the
then
person.
we put link the feedback
Yeah,
like
it's
constructive
very
conversation
disengaged,
back to the positive side, like
potentially
the
predict this
improvement
will
area
happen if
for that
the
person, not just
person
like
yes
try
man
to
but
put
like
them to the
something
corner.
doesn't
Like what
question
to
authority,
do when
might
it
say,
happens.
oh, yeah, okay.
So we listen to them first, and then
we also it's important to prepare
we
with the
be
dialogue,
objective
so you can try
and ask for
build a
solutions.
more meaningful
Also, like
conversation
if
and
they
then
in the track, and then just show them data and
We have
and
30
then
seconds to go.
commitment and ask them how could they do differently.
We know that
Do you have any?
they don't have motivation.
Yeah.
That is what
In return to solution, the objective.
good, so that they will get, they start feeling that, okay,
How could they do this differently? So
they
a lot
have
of
some
support.
good to that. And this is where it's going to do, what is going to happen, we talked about, okay, so we prepare,
Let's
okay.
wrap up.
Okay.
We're gonna wrap up in
Then
3,
also some forward looking.
2,
Work with the forward looking.
1. Okay, I know the discussions is quite interesting.
Yes.
We will have more discussions in the big group. Okay, now let's switch the B, if you can go to mistrust, and A, go to rationalizing. Okay, same as before. The person who works on the flip chart, please share with the rest of the group. If you have anything to add, just write it down there. Let's take a minute here.
So basically, if the person trying to come up with the reason, so to preempt it, you need to find sufficient fact and data, also evidence before the discussion. Try to use other sources like basically comments or third party
You are
comments.
expecting them to not trust you because there
And
is
somehow we need to link
more
at the
than
first
one
click time also, not only the including
Yeah,
part.
I agree. Yeah,
Try
So
and get
prepare for
feedback
that.
from stakeholders and customers.
What to do? Listen for that rationale. It could be
Examples
valid
or
somehow.
instances of this,
So we can also
person's
use our judgment.
Okay, 30 seconds
Use
to
our
go.
evaluation.
Only and not go into
Be
this,
objective to the point.
You have
you
half a
can
minute
ask for
to
solution
wrap
and
up
you
your
can ask for the,
discussions.
if they have their own reason, please
and then how to manage.
kick off the next step.
The discussion also have focus on data.
How could they do
Explain the
differently?
impact of the
And
action.
also make sure that we
Give
present them
importance to
with
the
the
individual,
right
that's why
data.
you are focusing on them, that they are the key point.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up
There's no
in
universal truth.
3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's shift again for the last round. So this group can go to mistrust and this group can go to sham. Same drill.
Okay, I was in this.
Okay, so
we handle
sham
the
acceptance,
mistrust. We
how to
said
preempt
for,
is,
like
look
we
at
saw the others,
what
definitely
the-
we need to
look
be
at the
having that
previous history of the
evidence.
person
Because here it's more
and,
stronger,
the
right, than that
relationships,
theory. You try
that
and
he's
relate
had.
to some past
Whether
experience because
the
you just,
person is
because
desensitized.
they come with that
There are
baggage
times
that
when the
you
person
always
is a
want
yes
to
man, will agree
not
to whatever
your bias
the
with me.
mentor
So
says.
basically trying to
Prepare
touch
for
upon the
data,
last experience
with
maybe
data and facts.
that things did not really
Yeah.
go well. So it's not just
So when you are actually when you meet
then
the
get
person,
feedback from
discuss what are the
stakeholders.
motivators
Maybe that
and
works
drive
well.
for the person. Ask
Be
questions.
it
Don't
a
judge the
customer,
person.
You have
be it
half a
Why is
minute
that?
to go.
Then focus on
And we
specific
should always be
areas.
forward
And see the right time and place where you can handle them because they
So,
can react.
in the conversation.
So we thought what can you do is
Yeah.
basically provide the
Yeah.
correct context and examples so we prepare to explain the impact the person has made as an individual, how what does that include, prevent, what importance. Then of course ask them in such situation what should we do.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up in 3, 2, 1. Okay, everyone finished?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go back to our seats. Okay. So if you open your handout in the inner flips, you can find all the tricky reactions that we just discussed, and also a summary of how we can preempt and what to do when it happens. So let's look at a bit our discussions earlier. There were some interesting discussions that's going on. In the flip chart of rationalizing, there's a point how to preempt is link it to the positive. Maybe if you can share us a little bit about what, how this link to positive can help us in preempt the rationalizing.
Like we will prepare for the constructive feedback to link to the positive thing, like show them see the opportunity, like we share the feedback. You just want them to improve and develop, just like want to push them to much further, and then they will listen to us and then receive our feedback.
Okay, so going back to the purpose of feedbacks is to help them change their behaviors, and we to come with the mindsets of we want to help them. Right, good point.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting mindset that we need to remind ourselves because somehow with all the emotion, with all the urgent thing, we tend to lose that intention. We just do somehow emotion or just try to get things done, but somehow remind ourselves with a good intention.
Yeah, sometimes we forget what is our purpose of giving this feedback. Okay, another thing is in the shame acceptance, there's a disengaged point here. Maybe the group from who's discussing this before, if you can share a bit more to the group.
Yeah, we thought that if the person is disengaged with their job and not happy, they're likely to give you shame acceptance because they just the care factor's not there. They're already in another headspace, so they'll just say whatever they can to get out of the conversation quickly and just go back to their yes.
Because they're already at this stage of
Yes.
If we look, if we think back, disengage, is it only, is shame acceptance the only reactions that may come up if someone is disengaged?
And I think you get pretty strong. I mean, if the relationship is bad and that's why they're disengaged, then mistrust would definitely come up and denial, and it just sort of feeds into their picture of why they're disengaged. So it could also be a pretty strong reaction too.
Yeah. So disengage can lead to different tricky reactions.
It can also be the manager's reactions in the past, right? So if I have been, as a manager, not encouraging feedback when I, provide either a, counsel or whatever, and if my reactions have been very strong, then the employee may feel that there's no point in bringing up anything.
Yes.
It's fine. I'm okay.
The past experience. I think we've discussed that in several of these how to preempt and looking at the past experience. Yeah. I think we've discussed at the beginnings about how we get to know our team members better. So getting to know what stage they are in, are they disengaged or engaged, and remember disengaged is a bit tricky to spot on. It can help us to understand what kind of tricky reactions that they may display, and helps us to prepare how to preempt on how to deal with that. Let's look at on the denials, because we haven't discussed this in the subgroups.
Yeah.
So denials. So usually the common phrase that they say, no, that's not true, that's not true, please. Okay, so first thing is since we come to feedback sessions with the intentions to help people, so avoid to judge them. Avoid to judge or evaluate them. So present the fact, prepare the fact beforehand, and present it to them. It will help a lot. evidence, feedback from various stakeholders, specific feedback will be helpful to navigate the conversations as well. And following up what you and Fong shares about positive, focusing on positive, share with them what's the incentive of taking actions of this feedback. And it will be, it's really advisable to let them have their say. So listen to them, give them the chance to talk instead of us going blah blah blah. So give them time to speak as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I was thinking, yes, I understand that listening to their point of the view is important, but when the case is that it's going to surprise them that they're going to give a negative feedback, it's okay if they expect it, but if they don't expect it, is it better to hear them out first or show them what you feel first? Because they'll be doing, I did this well, and then you'll be like, okay, actually, no, you did really bad.
Okay.
I'm just wondering how that should go.
That would be interesting to hear the thoughts from the group.
I think you hear them out first, and there's never one truth. And you can't, if you think you're coming in with the truth, that this is it, I think it's good to set the context for yourself by understanding what they think has happened, and then you can then reframe how you're going to present the feedback.
And also give the larger picture, right? Larger
Yeah.
picture on why we're doing this. It's not actually being very specific to the individual. It's also for us together how we can take that ahead and work for our objectives. Maybe that also could make them feel that important, and that feel of always coming as a rebel can put that situation down. Maybe we can try that.
I think several reaction also share the part that we can do on empathy part that Tricia mentioned. We just somehow we need to listen. It could be at any stage. Even we listen first or we say it first. But yeah, to me, I will try to incorporate the empathy part into it.
So thank you all, Pong, Hannah, and Jayanti. All good points. I think if we can add a bit. Remember we talked about the mercy values. One of those is humbleness. So in humbleness is how we be open to a different perspective. So that plays also when we give feedbacks. There may be a different size of the coins. So be prepared to hear that, and then there may be a bit of truth in the other side of the coin, but let's focus on what we can do better next time. Okay. Before we continue, any questions on the how we can manage the tricky reactions? Okay, so when you talk about feedback, most of the time we think about giving feedback to our team members or at most to our colleagues. But how about giving feedback to someone who has a higher level positions than us? Higher level positions. Could be our boss of our boss, our stakeholder who is our senior managers in the group, or someone who is more senior than us, has more expertise. Have you had that much of experience before? Who has been who has the experience of giving feedback to someone in the greater positions or higher positions, more senior?
I can share. Always I get the feedback. That's been the situation.
Okay.
But we did then with me and my senior had because my senior always wants, at least the reason one, always want to hear feedback.
Okay.
Because maybe he's also developing, so he wants to always take the feedback. Then we agreed that it's not always one way.
Okay.
We also want to be talking both sides. And initially, I was not very comfortable because how can I give feedback to my senior? It gets a little difficult, right?
Yeah.
So then I said, well, then I started getting that comfort. He gave me that space and made comfort. So there are times when things did not go the way at least I wanted. I kind of explained and tell that I would have expected you to maybe give me more space on this, or try to help me out to get this done, or maybe connect with me for people where it could. So that situation, while it was initially not very comfortable for me, but as it went on and on, I think I got that openness to actually give my feedback. Sometimes it's taken in the right way, sometimes it's not taken. So that also I have to accept. Sometimes says, and then I get a counter argument sometimes, telling that no, this is what you think, Jayanti, but this is not the one.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of have a good discussion after that.
Yes, thank
But
you.
it's not very easy.
Yeah, it's not very easy. Of course. So, thank you for sharing, Jayanti. So at the beginning you're a bit, hesitant, and only after several times you're a bit more comfortable of giving it. If you don't mind, if I ask you a bit more, at the beginning, how was your feedback differs when you give it to the higher levels, and then the one that you give to your direct report or your colleagues?
Actually, when I had to give the feedback, I realized I'm sure even my team members would be feeling the same thing. They are also reluctant initially to give, if they want to tell me something which they are not comfortable. I felt the same thing, and I think this was one learning which I started even being more open to my direct reports, and even for the team members, right? Because they're really looking forward to your help, which was maybe didn't come openly, but when I experienced myself, and that's the time I thought I should also open. So you learn from that.
And if I can add, at times you're worried about consequences, right? Especially when it's somebody who's either a senior or who has a role to play in either your performance or your career. Then you don't know, you'll sugarcoat it, right? You will not be maybe very direct. But with your team members, there is, except for the fact that they may not be engaged and they may leave. I'm just being very honest. You are not worried so much about consequence. And like Jayanti said, it may also be true about us with our teams, right? They worry about consequence if they have to give. And nobody has ever said anything really bad to me so far.
So from your experience, if I can understand correctly, you'll be more careful, cautious, and how you deliver the feedback.
Yes.
Okay. So if anyone can share from their experience giving feedback to someone at higher levels, what I know there's from what Radha shares, there's some uncomfortable feelings, feeling anxious how to give it. But when you finally give it, what makes you finally get it going, get it done, this feedback to your boss or someone, senior managers?
Again, I think like you did in this exercise of what we saw in the feedback, right? If you focus on the instance, on facts, on some evidence, and don't make it such a big deal, maybe you can still do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by remembering that, let's focus on this specific instances.
Yeah.
What are the feedback? So it's all professionals, nothing personal.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from
Yeah, I just share my experience. In fact, this was my first job, and I was fairly young and new in the organization. And my manager asked me that please give me feedback, and I was actually unprepared. I had never imagined that I will have to give feedback to my manager, and I immediately told him that give me some time. And when I started giving feedback for the first time, obviously I was only talking about positive things, and the manager just listened, and he asked me that, what do you think that I need to improve something? I said something, but hesitantly. And then the cycle began, and then second time, third time, I became more confident in giving feedback. But one thing that I learned from that experience was, whenever I used to have the conversation, the manager just used to accept what I used to say. He would never say anything that why this, and any rationalization, he never got into it. So that was a personal learning for me, that as a manager, if you're asking for feedback, so be ready and prepared to take it.
Okay, related. Yes,
So let me share my situation. Like I feel really easy to share it with my managers, but in our country, it's because of the culture. So some other managers they are senior, and then they start like don't want to share feedback to them because they're afraid that like when they share bad feedback, and then the manager will do something bad with them. But actually, it like really actually happens because of the mindset of the manager. Just keep there, they don't care. It's really hard.
did you touch upon a culture of it? So